Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Round 2 Wrestling here on the 11th of October 2022. This is a jam-packed, information overstuffed podcast, so we don't have any time for introductions, and we are going to jump right into this podcast by talking about the pro wrestling rumor mill. Ringside News claims Goldberg will not be at WWE's Crown Jewel pay-per-view, but Brock Lesnar is. PW Insider reports AEW is interested in bringing Juice Robinson back as often as possible and signing him to the promotion when the time presents itself. Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer reports AEW wrestler Andrade El Idolo is not on good terms with AAA Mexico. Andrade rumored to want to work for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but this isn't possible due to the political climate between AAA, CMLL Mexico, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. A quick note about this. It is no secret that Andrade apparently wants out of his AEW contract and is willing to go almost anywhere else but AEW. And I don't blame him because AEW has sort of muddled the handling of this particular wrestler. Whatever political turmoil is between the Mexican wrestling promotions and the Japanese wrestling promotions, you would think they would work out because there is money to be made here. But again, this is why we're discussing this in the rumor portion of Round 2 Wrestling. We're not entirely sure if Andrade really does want to leave and go work over in Japan. Fightful reports wrestler Bandito did in fact sign on with AEW. WWE expressed interest in Bandito as well. Another note to this particular piece of information, we could not confirm whether or not Bandito did indeed sign on with AEW. Some reports that we read from other sources indicated that Bandito has not signed on with AEW. Then there were other sources like Fightful that were reporting the exact opposite. So this fell into the rumor category. I'm sure within the next few days or weeks we will see some sort of clarification on this particular subject. Fightful Select reports WWE's Renee Paquette, AEW Jon Moxley's wife, is indeed headed to AEW. Honor No More, a Ring of Honor faction within Impact, have their contracts expire with no interest in re-signing any member of Honor No More, per PW Insider. During an interview with Mas Lucha, AEW wrestler Andrade El Idolo said wife Charlotte Flair is taking time off from WWE for, quote, personal reasons, end quote. During an interview, WWE's Ronda Rousey revealed she wanted to use Legos against Liv Morgan at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, but was stopped short due to AEW using it first within the last couple of years. Alright, that is enough what-ifs and rumors to discuss. This is Pro Wrestling News. AEW President Tony Khan announced AEW World Champion Jon Moxley has signed a 5-year extension with AEW. At WWE's Extreme Rules pay-per-view, the WrestleMania 40 logo was revealed, featuring the Liberty Bell and a return to Roman numerals. WrestleMania would take place April 6th and 7th, 2024, at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Former WWE wrestler Heath Slater addresses the positive atmosphere in Impact Wrestling and his year left with the promotion. Okada vs. Jay White for the IWGP World Title will main event Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Japan. With the passing of the great Antonio Inoki, New Japan Pro Wrestling announces Wrestle Kingdom 17 to be held in his honor. There will be a lot of pomp and circumstance surrounding this next pay-per-view, or this Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view specifically in Japan, because its founder passed. Look for a lot of memorial stuff, maybe even a few surprise guests from Inoki's past. New Japan Pro Wrestling reveals a new championship title. New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV Championship will focus on fast-paced matches with younger talent. A tournament to declare the first New Japan Pro Wrestling TV champion will conclude at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Former WWE wrestler Bray Wyatt returned to WWE after appearing at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view this past weekend. Former WWE and Impact tag team the Good Brothers returned to WWE as well, appearing last night on Monday Night Raw. That concludes pro wrestling news. We have a ton, and literally a ton of gold to talk about here in the title matches section of Round 2 Wrestling. We talked about last week how wrestling is a fickle sport and comes and go in waves. At times there is seemingly nothing to talk about or announce, and then there are other times where you are literally flooded with information, and this happened this past week and weekend. Every single promotion, it seems like, in the United States had some sort of pay-per-view or title match this past week and weekend. And we here at Round 2 Wrestling scoured the internet and are pretty sure we found every single title match that took place and those results. So let's jump right into these title matches. Forgot to do that a couple of times. Anyways, here we go. Seth Rollins defeated U.S. Champion Bobby Lashley to become the new WWE U.S. Champion. WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther defeated Sheamus to retain the Intercontinental Championship. NXT Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly defeated the Brawling Brutes to retain the NXT Tag Team titles. Ronda Rousey defeated SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan to become the new WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair defeated Bayley to retain the Raw Women's Championship. AEW TNT Champion Wardlow defeated Brian Cage to retain the AEW TNT Championship. AEW Trios Champions Death Triangle defeated Dark Order to retain the AEW Trio title. AEW All-Atlantic Champion PAC defeated Trent to retain the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. AEW TBS Champion Jade Cargill defeated Willow Nightingale to retain the TBS Championship. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions FTR defeated Gates of Agony to retain the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Frankie Kazarian defeated Impact X Division Champion Mike Bailey to become the new Impact X Division Champion. The Death Dolls defeated Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Champions VXT to become the new Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Impact World Tag Team Champions The Kingdom defeated the Motor City Machine Guns to retain the Impact Tag Team titles. Impact Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace defeated Masha Slamovich to retain the Impact Women's World Championship. Impact World Champion Josh Alexander defeated Eddie Edwards to retain the Impact World title. KOPW 2022 Provisional Champion Shingo Takagi defeated El Phantasmo to retain the KOPW Provisional Championship. IWGP World Champion Jay White defeated Tama Tonga to retain the IWGP World Championship. Tajiri defeated Arez Aramis and MLW Middleweight Champion Myron Reed to become the new MLW Middleweight Champion in Tajiri's debut MLW match. MLW Openweight National Champion Alex Hammerstone defeated MLW World Champion Jacob Fatu to become the new MLW World Champion and a double title holder in MLW. Nick Gage defeated GCW World Champion John Moxley to become the new GCW World Champion. DDT Extreme Champion Joey Janela defeated GCW Extreme Champion Cole Redrick to become the new GCW Extreme Champion and also a dual title holder. King of Freedom's champion Drew Parker defeated Mito Extremo to retain the King of Freedom's championship. GCW Ultraviolent champion Rina Yamashita defeated Cyclope to retain the GCW Ultraviolent championship. Whew, there were a lot of titles on the line, and again, it seemed like every major U.S. promotion had some sort of title to defend this past week and weekend. If you missed something, one of those title matches, or you're wondering, did MLW or NWA or AEW defend any titles this past week or weekend, the answer is yes, but you're going to have to listen to this episode of Round 2 Wrestling again to find out who won and who lost those titles. All right, we are coming up to the end of Round 2 Wrestling, so we are going to conclude this podcast like we always do by spitting some facts. Did you know our little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about? Did you know the 41st U.S. President George H.W. Bush coached baseball to wrestling legend Wahoo McDaniel? Did you know Japanese wrestler Giant Baba was a pro baseball prodigy in Japan at 17 years old? An injury to his throwing hand, however, would end his baseball career and jumpstart his pro wrestling career. Did you know Trish Stratus won her 7th WWE Women's Championship in September 2006? She would then promptly retire as champion the same night. Did you know Hulk Hogan and Sting have shared the same ring for 3 different wrestling main event cards for 3 different wrestling promotions? This includes WrestleMania, Starrcade, and Bound for Glory. All right, that is the conclusion of this week's episode of Round 2 Wrestling. I am Slim the Kid, and I once again want to thank you for tuning into this podcast here on Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. Very quickly, I also want to give a shout out to Combat One, a new wrestling promotion here in Michigan, based in Waterford, Michigan, along with Ultimate Championship Wrestling in Saginaw. Combat One is giving me a chance to break into the pro wrestling circuit. This time not as a ring official, but as the official timekeeper and bell master. If you are in the Waterford, Michigan area at the end of August, particularly Friday, October 28th, be sure to check out Combat One's live event, jam-packed with action and superstars from a plethora of different promotions across the state of Michigan and this great nation of ours. Once again, I am Slim the Kid, and I want to thank you for tuning in to Round 2 Wrestling. Please tune in next Tuesday as I bring you more news, more rumors, and more Did You Know results from the world of professional wrestling. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by Slim the Kid and Spreaker.com.